Yeah, so my name is Gift. I'm the co-founder of Data Community Africa, popularly known for Data First Africa. I'm an ML dev advocate at DVC AI. Uh, so your friendly neighborhood AI part of Python advocate, making AI less scary, maintaining with more Wakanda and steez, you get. So I'm a data scientist and a speaker, which what I'm doing here now. Basically a PowerPoint JD, right? And warnings may cause data-driven decisions. So that's just to be funny, right? And dev network adversary member. I do a lot of things actually. Yeah, but let's just leave that part here. So you can go find me on Twitter, Gifts Ojeabulu, if you're interested in connecting with me and all. And on LinkedIn, that's my name. Yeah, so today we'll be talking about my story from the essence of collaboration, Jupyter Notebook and VS Code, then the VS Code extensions for data scientists and ML engineers, Stack Overflow survey, and software engineering principle for data scientists. Yeah, so that's what we'll be dealing with today. Yeah, okay. Okay. So what this is all about is you see phase one, learning from courses on YouTube. So the thing is, how many of us are into data science here? First of all, before I know outside Bumi and Emeka, yeah, how many of us are into data science outside you to some extent? Okay, data analysis. How many of us are into data analysis here? Okay, it seems there are a lot of software engineering people here. Okay, there are a lot of software engineering people here, right? Okay, let's go. So phase one, generally now, outside data science, before I come back. So phase one, when you want to get into tech, you start learning on YouTube, learning on different platforms. We found Coursera, some use Udemy, some use DataCamp, some use EDX then, and Udacity too is also. Yeah, so the thing is, when I started learning data science, I like what I know. I started learning on YouTube with YouTube videos. What you just see with Jupyter Notebook, you just install after installation with Python, whether with pip or conda and the rest. The next thing, you just feel like data science is all about a digital scratch pad, which is notebook, right? Because if you are coming from the software engineering side, before coming to data science or analysis, to some extent, like me, you won't be familiar with that kind of environment, right? Like a notebook. Why a notebook? When people use Sublime Text, VS Code, Atom, then, and some other things, right? So you learn on YouTube, and what they teach you is what a lot of people teach is Jupyter Notebook, where you do your exploratory data analysis with pandas, NumPy, Matplotlib, Seaborn, and so on. Yeah, so then you do your feature engineering and the rest, then come down to machine learning without the production side. So you come into ML and you feel like, okay, after you standardize, normalize, and do some hyperparameter tuning. So let me break this down for people that are not into data science. Okay, so what you work with basically is numbers and letters, right? So data science, I would say in a layman term, is just a I'll say a statistician that knows like a lot about, that knows more about like statistics or how do they put that definition and have some knowledge of software engineering, even than a software engineer, no, even than is, let me not confuse myself. So it's just a quote online. So what they say basically is a data scientist is someone that knows statistics than a software engineer and knows software engineering than a statistician. So that's the summary of it you get. So like the definition. So the thing is, a lot of times you don't still need to imbibe software engineering techniques you get. So you just feel like, okay, is allowed. We are not like software engineers by trade, so We don't have to write clean code, you get, or do version control. We just have to use our notebook and all. So that was how I started, right? With that mindset, learning from different YouTube channels. And then the next phase was hackathons, right? Some Zindi competitions. There are some Zindi boss here. I have my guy Toby's here. So if you want to know more about Zindi, you can ask him. Yeah, he does a lot of Zindi competitions now. Yeah, so some Zindi competitions and cargo competitions, basically. Yeah, so and some on-site hackathons. So this is the second stage, right? So when you go into like competitions, right, like this, maybe online or some in person, like the Days of Data Science Nigeria, you tend to like collaborate with people, work together in teams and all. They split you into different groups. Then your mindset is open, wider than what you are learning on YouTube to practice what you are meant to practice, right? And generate insight, basically. Okay. Yeah, so the phase three was when I got my first job as a sports data scientist. Yeah, so the mindset was different now. So I got my first job as a sport data scientist for CBB Analytics. Yeah, so it's a company in US. What we do basically then was like college basketball in the US. We try to use ML, most time predictive analytics, to like get some insight and talk to coaches and all, send emails personally. Yeah, so the thing is, I discovered that working with the CEO and the team, I discovered that after you build stuff in Jupyter Notebook, outside the analysis parts, that you be like, okay, visualization and all, and you do a lot of hyperparameter tuning, and you get like your output, and you are trying to find the last parameter you use, like from your experimentation. So what experimentation means is data scientists work with different things, like unlike software engineers that just work with code, we work with code, we work with data, and we work with models. Yeah, so those are what data scientists work with. So the thing is, a lot of times, data and your model, they changes. Even the code changes at times. In sense of like, if you get a result for some instance, if you are working in Jupyter Notebook, when you get your output, you can't find, like, you are unable to tell the exact one that got like the highest, like, what is the name, the highest score, because of why everything is just scattered there, and your work is just somehow. People that are into this understand. I know Bumu will get, because we did this as a competition. Toby will get, and Elisha will understand. Yeah, so if you don't understand, what it means is, because of you work with set of parameters, numbers, right, and you are putting different things like 200, random number, 250, 300, and your score, like you get the last process out. You feel like maybe you use the card boost is a model, for instance. You get this result out, and you discover that when you are doing the next iteration, you get a better result. And you save that now maybe in form of 0 and 1 in an Excel file, a CSV file, right? And now you are trying to like trace the exact like notebook, the exact file that you use, that, okay, I think it's this, I think it's this. That's how a lot of beginner data scientists work, right? But in this case, how can we manage this now? So I discovered there is a different ball game in this place. So what did I learn? Okay, so I'll first talk about VS Code and Jupyter Notebook extension, and before why I'm putting VS Code here after talking about Jupyter Notebook. That's a bit blur. Yeah, so things there basically is collaboration. So collaboration can be in different sense. In VS Code, we have like different extensions for collaboration. We have Git Lens, we have Live Share, we have ZML, which debuted recently. We have DVC. We have different tools for collaboration, right? So the thing is, what they do is to improve on your software engineering practice in that way that your code is reproducible, you get. So that you can manage things and make things clean, not just scattered everywhere, you get. So, and work in teams. So that's what collaboration is about. And also structure your projects with better debugging and all. We'll talk about this. And deployment also. Yeah. So, yeah, so this is just a funny meme, right? So It said plain VS Code and VS Code with extension. Yeah, so plain VS Code for data scientists, there's really no like big deal that you need to change to using maybe VS Code instead of Jupyter Notebook, right? But when you mix VS Code with extensions, it's make it have a lot of capabilities now to cover all these techniques, right? Best practice to use as a data scientist that you can work well in production setting for MLOps and so on. Yeah. Okay, so this is a basic survey. Okay. Clicking on this. Okay. So the green parts, I'll go to the Stack Overflow developer survey soon. The green parts represent VS Code, while the other part are other tools like Sublime Text, Jupyter Notebook, and some other ones like that. PyCharm, people use PyCharm for data science. Some people use Data Lab. Yeah, there's Google Colab. People use Google Colab also. So Google Colab is actually, I would say, it's very perfect, right? So though it can incorporate a lot of these extensions, right? And if you are someone that maybe you don't have free GPUs, you can just use Google Colab for the rate at which you can use it at the moment. But they don't have a lot of these extensions, which is why we are settling for VS Code in this case. No one is the best. It has strengths and weaknesses. We'll see it at the end of the day. So clicking on this, it will take me to this place. Okay, Nigeria network. Okay, it's fine. It's supposed to take me to a survey, like a VS Code survey, right? So what it shows, I'll share later. So the Stack Overflow 2023 survey, like ranked VS Code as the topmost ID, that's the integrated development environment. In case you don't understand what it means, yeah, what people used to code, right? So for like developers generally, from professional to people learning how to code, you get. So Jupyter Notebook was also included. Let me see whether it has load now. Guess I left my phone there and okay. Let's leave. I don't know. It's no more connected. Yeah, so they rank VS Code as like the topmost among all the options from over 6,000 developers, right? Over the world. I think they just did their 2024 survey also. A lot of times what they do is tools, different tools like that, maybe Python among the most used programming language. I think the first was JavaScript, second was SQL, and the third was Python. But Python was among the top three, right? Yeah. So they rank like do analysis, like data analysis and visualization of what to expect from developers and all. Yeah, so the results, I said the item represents several IDs in a bar chart voted by over 6,000 developers, like experienced developers, made 5%, and entry-level developers 15%. The percentage is an estimation, right? I didn't really calculate it. I just know the difference was one was 66,000, the other one was like 4,000. I can't really remember because of the figure is not loading. So I just like estimate the differences and be like, okay, this is 5%. So I know it will be closer. It can be 82, it can be 83, but it will be within that range. I did calculate it. Yeah, so why VS Code, right? So in this sense, you see VS Code and you see the extensions. You see the stuff like the one on white are like the first and the most essential extensions you need to like install before you start using VS Code. If you want to do data science, you see the likes of Python. You see Python, you see Jupyter, which is like a small like Jupyter notebook now in a minute form, right? So that is built like to work with like VS Code. You see Jupyter. So Python definitely. What the Python extension is for is like linting. There's debugging. Just basically Python, like what to do in Python and rest to make sure it can dictate the language that is Python. So Jupyter basically is the Jupyter notebook itself. It's just like having Jupyter notebook inside of like VS Code, you get. So the Python indent is for indentation. So since indentation is one of the most important thing in Python, yeah, so like if your indentation is not right, like you get errors. So immediately you press enter most of the time. The Python indents just arrange everything in a structured form for you. We like stressing yourself from like maybe getting errors and all. So we have the likes of, we have GitHub Copilot. How many of you know about GitHub Copilot? Yeah, yeah, okay. Okay, if you've not heard of GitHub Copilot, it's just like ChatGPT, but in a developer setting, right? In this side, it suggests codes and all. So it's just like a big broader form of ChatGPT in a coding sense, meant for coding only, no like asking questions. So that's what GitHub Copilot is for, created by Microsoft's in bracket GitHub, right? Microsoft team. Yeah, so there's GitHub Copilot, that's AI Copilot precisely. So it suggests code. Like before you write like your next block of code, it suggests that, okay, is this what you want to write? There is also the error lens. So what the error lens does is it's make it easier for someone to debug when you are using the error lens. There's also a similar extension to that. But I think error lens is actually more perfect to that extension. I've forgotten the name of the extension. So there's the data wrangler and Sundance. So they are almost the same thing, right? So what data wrangler and Sundance does is data analysis and visualization. Okay, it's fine. Yeah. Okay, what it does is data analysis and visualization in basically. So instead of you doing, if you are developing in data science, Jupyter Notebook, instead of doing like maybe your df.column or doing your, that you get the rows, like the basic stats, mean, media, and mode of all boxes. That's what data wrangler and Sanders, they've wrapped it right to build out and like implement that. So there's also pylons, there's also so there's DVC. So DVC simply means data version control. Yeah, so that's the company I work for. I won't dwell more on that. Yeah, but if you want to learn more about DVC, let me know, because the focus now is not about DVC. So DVC is for data versioning, experiment tracking, and model training, evaluation precisely. So the thing is, in summary, is just to make like your code, like your this thing, your code well packed in terms of like you always work with different experiments, so you can easily track this experiment through visualizations, maybe like getting visuals of different experiments that you get and all, so you can track it. So that's what DVC does in summary. Yeah, so we also have like the VS Code extension. This week we celebrate over 50,000 installations on VS Code. Yeah, so that's just for that. So software engineering principle for data scientists. Yeah, so here it said, following the best practice in your code kitchen helps you create well-ordered code means that you and others pick up the analytics project in the future, understand and extend to reuse it, right? Yeah. So the proponents, like the principles, like we have project structured, we have reproducible environments, we have clean code, like testing and all, and version control, whether your data, whether your experiments. Yeah, so okay, this one that the network is not connected. Okay, for this, let me come in. Yeah, so what we are supposed to do here is visit. Is it possible for me to connect? Like I'm connected to my phone, but I don't know. Okay, okay. What I wanted to do, I want to go like online and connect to my laptop and all. Okay, Python and okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. For the password, right? Okay. Small letters. Okay. Okay. So for this survey, I'm coming. Yeah, it's connected now. So for this survey, I'm coming. Okay. Okay, what's it? It's not loading, but it's okay, it's fine. I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know why it's taking time to load though. Okay, let me just skip that then. Okay, since it's not loading, I think network is bad. I don't know. Let me click on this one, see whether it will load. This one too is not loading. Network is bad. So what I wanted to do basically is there are some instructions there. Okay. Uh, let me convert this side. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so my minutes is just remaining 5 minutes. I didn't even know how. I'm almost close to 30 minutes now. So visit VS Code Marketplace. So the thing is, if you visit, let me just say what I remember from my head. Visit VS Code Marketplace now on your phone. So the thing is, you see different um, yeah, and extensions. Is that the first thing you see? So in that place, there's a box. Is there at the right hand side? It's really why I did this. So you can filter it by category and like with data science and machine learning. So you see all the extensions for data science and machine learning. People are like contributing to open source and building extensions daily, right? So they are improving. So there'll definitely be better libraries. It's just like ZML Studio now. Their what's the name? Their extension is still in the preview stage. It got released like I think last 3 weeks, last month. Yeah, last month, early last month, something like that. So that can help you as a data scientist instead of just staying on VS Code and like you enjoy the moment while doing it. Can build a project using all these extensions. Yeah. So yeah. So I said analysis and conclusion. Right. I said VS Code extensions, when combined with a commitment to software engineering principle, can transform your data science and ML team's collaboration workflow. You create a synergy between the synergy that propels your projects. Okay, that's it. VS Code is ideal for complex projects, collaboration and large code base, and professional data science projects requiring a robust like development. So that's when you use VS Code. But okay, but Jupyter Notebook, I think I skipped that here. But what I'm trying to say here, Jupyter Notebook is cool for analysis and visualization, right? So that's what Jupyter Notebook is cool for. So each have their strengths. But when you are trying to work in a bigger team, like needing a lot of people, you should try using like VS Code or other ones like maybe Google Colab or something, yeah. So thank you. Any questions? Hope I've not pissed people off with talking about ML. For people that don't understand, there is nothing much here. So if you have any questions, you can ask me.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Um, when you were talking about the whole data science workflow, we're talking about DVC and the rest. I was wondering, with something like that extension, does it handle like artifacts? When data science, you do a lot of experimentation, and those experimentation creates certain artifacts. So does it handle it locally or cloud-based, or how does it handle artifacts? Yes.
Okay. I actually don't want to go into DVC, but let me say this. So the thing is, for DVC now, we have the enterprise side. If you are working with the open source version, if you have yeah, okay. The next week I'll be coming soon. If you have like enough like GPUs and the rest that you want to work with and all, it handles that. Yeah, it handles that. Yeah, so there's the enterprise side which like give you access to do more things with DVC and all. But just the open source version which like I talked about here and all. Yeah. So I didn't dwell on DVC. Possibly if there's any opportunity, I'll dwell on DVC more. Yeah, so.
Okay, thank you very much. Please, can we give him a round of applause? So.